Will cholera ever be eradicated? With the never-ending cases of cholera, it is almost impossible to see the end of cholera, but with the technology and inventions we have today, this unimaginable thing can become reality. Throughout this video, we will answer these 3 questions. What is cholera? Why does it matter? And how can we help?
First, what is cholera? Cholera is a waterborne disease that's most commonly found in areas with poor sanitation. More specifically, the bacteria Vibrio cholerae contaminates water and then is ingested by civilians who drink from that water source. This bacteria is gram-negative, hiding its antigen so it cannot be seen as a foreign invader in its host. Being the most dangerous type of bacteria because it is gram-negative instead of gram-positive, Vibrio cholerae has 2 serogroups that are found to be pathogenic to humans. A serogroup is a group of microorganisms that have the same antigen and therefore react to the same antibody. One serogroup of Vibrio cholerae that causes cholera is called the O1 serogroup. This serogroup has 2 biotypes, classical and L-Tor. The difference between these 2 biotypes is that L-Tor can survive longer in the body and can easily infect a large population. The second serogroup of Vibrio cholerae was found recently during the 7th cholera pandemic. It is called O139. O139 is much more severe than O1 as it is found to be resistant to antibiotics that would have usually been given to patients with cholera. Because of this new serogroup of cholerae, there are very few people that are immune to it.
Once ingested, the person will experience symptoms such as fast onset watery diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, dehydration, and weight loss. As horrible as these symptoms are, once left untreated, the patient will experience even more symptoms that are much more horrific. Symptoms include low blood pressure, faint pulse, increase in muscular cramps, eyes become hollow and sunken, skin wrinkle, shock, and then death within hours. With all of this being said, why does it matter? It matters because cholera kills millions of people yearly. Ever since the 1800s, cholera has been a huge problem. It is time to act now and try to eradicate this disease.
During the year 1817, the first cholera pandemic was documented. It first started at Jessore, India, when rice was contaminated with Vibrio cholerae and spread along through trade routes. Soon, cholera spread to Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, China, Persian Gulf, Japan, Turkey, and southern Russia. This pandemic lasted for 6 years, killing 100,000 civilians on the island of Java alone. The second cholera pandemic occurred on the year of 1829, originating again in India and then spreading to Central Asia, Europe, Middle East, and North America. In 1852, the third cholera pandemic occurred, this one having the highest fatalities compared to the other pandemics. In Russia, more than 1 million civilians died because of cholera, and in Great Britain, 23,000 civilians died. The third cholera pandemic also marked history with the start of epidemiology. John Snow is the person who started epidemiology and discovered the cause of cholera. He disproved the popular miasma theory, which was the theory that bad air was the cause of disease spreading. He disproved it by proving that cholera was the cause of contaminated water. With this discovery, the water pump that was contaminated with the bacteria was moved in London, preventing many future cases that could have caused death.
The fourth cholera pandemic happened in the year 1863, where Indian Muslim pilgrims visiting Mecca spread the disease to the Middle East, killing 30,000 pilgrims and 90,000 civilians in Russia. The fifth pandemic happened during 1881, originating in India, then to Asia, Africa, Southern America, France, and Germany. This pandemic once again affected Russia greatly by killing 200,000 civilians. This pandemic also caused 90,000 deaths in Japan. The sixth pandemic also originated from India and killed 800,000 civilians. In 1960, oral rehydration therapy, or ORT, was invented to help gain back the lost fluids patients experienced during their fight with cholera. During their fight against cholera, patients experienced severe dehydration and ultimately die because of this. ORT comes in a powder substance that is meant to be mixed in with water to drink. It is a lifesaver for many patients as its inexpensiveness makes it easy to distribute to poor countries that are the most vulnerable to cholera pandemics. Its simplicity is very helpful. By just mixing the powder substance with water and drinking it, the patient can fully recover over time. Not only does this treatment cure patients with cholera, but also prevent other cases of cholera in the future. By treating the patients and curing them, disease spreading will decrease dramatically.
The seventh cholera pandemic, beginning in the year 1961, is still ongoing today. Unlike the other pandemics, this pandemic started in Indonesia. This time, the serogroup causing this pandemic is O139, the most harmful and difficult to control. Because of its antibiotic resistance, the new strain of cholera is harder to defeat and therefore affecting many more civilians. In 1990, oral cholera vaccines were introduced. These vaccines protect individuals from getting cholera. For adults, the protection lasts for 2 years, and for children aged 2 to 5 years, the protection lasts for 6 months. These vaccines are very inexpensive, only costing $1.70 to $1.85 per vial. There are a lot of benefits towards an oral vaccine. First, it's easy to distribute. Second, less materials are needed, such as needles that are required for regular vaccines. Third, there is not a case where a patient may be scared of injecting the vaccine because it is taken orally. And just like the oral rehydration therapy, it prevents future cases of cholera.
Lastly, the Global Roadmap to End Cholera was created in 2017. This roadmap is created by the Global Task Force on Cholera Control (GTFCC) and joined with 15 other partners. This roadmap is a huge step to eradicate cholera in the near future. With the continuous pandemics of cholera, it is time to focus on eradicating it. In the roadmap, it lays out 3 major steps. Step 1 is early detection and quick response to contain outbreaks at an early stage. Step 2 is a multi-sectoral approach to prevent cholera in hotspots in endemic countries. Finally, Step 3 is an effective mechanism of coordination for technical support, resource mobilization, and partnership at the local and global level. By the end of Step 3, GTFCC expects to eliminate this disease in 20 countries and have an overall 90% decrease in cholera cases in 2030. With the use of oral rehydration therapy, oral cholera vaccines, and constant improvement in water treatment and overall sanitation, this goal will be achievable. Although it may not be eradicated, the amount of cholera cases by 2030 will be dramatically less than present day.
Throughout history, a cholera pandemic arrives one after another, with barely any time in between. Finally, with the global roadmap, we have a strategy to almost eradicate cholera. However, how can we help? The global roadmap is just a strategy, but we as a nation need to be involved too. With the help of all of us, the roadmap may take a shorter time to reach its goal and overall saving thousands of lives. By just acknowledging that cholera is a huge problem and informing others of it, this is already taking action. By encouraging others to pick up litter from the ground is taking action. Little things can add up when everyone does it. Donating to organizations that help areas currently battling with cholera pandemic is a great way to take action. Cholera has been around for centuries. It is now time to take action to try to eradicate this disease forever. Thank you for listening, and I hope we informed you a little bit about cholera.